Okay, so thanks for letting me do this. As you can see, there is a lot to cover here. 170 190 lines. I'm going to balance going over everyone in these in detail with time. So this will usually go an hour to an hour and a half. If you want me to cover any of these topics in more detail, just ask me, but I could spend 8 hours going over all this, but I'm not going to. Sometimes we'll just skirt over some things just to save time. But again, if you need any more detailed explanation, let me know. So, where do we start at? Well, first of all, there's a lot of room for improvement here, and we'll get into all that. So, local SEO. So, it comes down, the major ranking signals for local SEO are proximity, so how close you are to the person searching. If they're if they're searching from 100 yards from your address, there's a high likelihood you're going to show up as a search result, even if you have the worst web page, you don't have any social presence, your Google Business Profile is messed up. And when I say Google Business Profile, and there's a lot of issues there we'll get into, I'm talking about right here, right? So if I search for Italian restaurant, Baton Rouge, this is Google Business Profile. It's like the modern day Yellow Pages. So you'll also hear me refer to this as the map pack or the three pack or the snack pack. Your goal for a goal for the local business is to get in these top three up here. Okay. And we will cover all that. So, and then relevant, how relevant are you to the search? If somebody searches for top choice real estate Indiana, that's like almost 100% relevant. So you're ideally going to show up. If somebody searches for Mexican food Indiana, obviously that's not relevant. If somebody searches for um, real estate connection in like a city next to you, like 10 miles from you, that's pretty relevant, but not totally relevant. So you get the idea, right? That's what that means. And then prominent. How prominent are you? How many reviews do you have? How many times have you been mentioned in the local press? How many backlinks do you have? All that kind of stuff. That's relevant, prominence. So one thing I want to mention is you mentioned in the intake form you're a boutique firm. If that's one of your big selling points, that's something you need to mention here on the web page. This is like the H1. Now you don't have it configured properly as the H1. So there's in HTML, you have like heading one, heading two. This is normal paragraph text, but this main thing up here should be the top type of header called an H1. Then as you go down, this should be H2. These aren't really good H2s, but this should be H2, 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 or this actually could be H2s. Then below that would be H3s, H4s, etc. So that's what headings are. I don't know why. Oh, so this is what you want to highlight here. Your boutique real estate connection, and it should be in your boutique real estate connection in Noblesville, Indiana. Now, that's not the right way to word it, but you want to always think about highlighting in the H1 when I say geography or location, I'll often say geo. That's what I'm talking about. Your geo is Noblesville, Indiana. That should be highlighted right here. Or if you're focusing on all of Indiana, then you want to just say Indiana. You want whatever it is, it needs to be mentioned up here. And so it should be your boutique real estate agent in Noblesville, Indiana, or whatever. And we would totally rework all this. Professional service, proven results, that's fine. Um, all this other stuff you mentioned, I bring a much wider skill set to my competitors, license, realtor, all this stuff, all these things that make you unique from an algorithm point of view and from a just a human being reading your website point of view. This is the stuff you want to highlight up top. This is called above the fold. Anything above this bottom bar that they see before having to scroll down, as much as you can realistically, it needs to be above the fold. There also needs to be a call to action here, meaning a button that says contact me now or free evaluation now or whatever it is, right? Um, you don't want to make them have to hunt for this form. I know it sounds crazy, but if you watch any kind of usability testing, people, if a lot of times if they don't see a button here up top or a form, so like for example, I got a contact form right here, or you can click here and that goes directly to the contact form. And it's slow because I'm logged in, but see, so that would need to be reworked. All that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of detail. There's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of detail there. We'd get into all that. Make sure you migrate your site properly. So migration site from an SEO point of view, whoops, I didn't mean to click on that. Olga Czar is one of the best people and in SEO. And where the heck did it go? Right here. She has a great checklist. Basically, if you can't just, from an SEO point of view, you can't just bring down the site and bring up the new site. You need to create redirect. So you need to do, for whatever your top ranking pages are. So let's say, and I don't remember, I looked at Google Analytics and I don't want to dig into it, it'll take too much time. Let's say your buyer's page is getting a lot of traffic. We want to make sure we map that, what's called a redirect, to this page here. So anytime somebody types this into the URL, it's going to auto redirect to here or whatever the new URL is. I know it's not going to be at Realty Ninja, at least I don't think so. It's going to be eventually part of this domain. But bottom line is there's a whole process that needs to be taken into account from a SEO point of view. So you can tell Google, okay, this web page here that was getting 100 views per week or whatever it is, that's actually going to be this page now. Because if not, Google's going to have to relearn what this page is all over again. And all that authority you had built up on this URL is going to be lost. It's not going to understand it's the same thing. So there's a whole process there. You can read through it. I mean, I do this all the time. It's something I could help with for sure, but it's time consuming. So like so the website looks decent overall, but this just looks very old and dated. So like this highlighting yellow text behind it just doesn't look good. You can see the font here, it's a smaller font. So if I click on Font Ninja, so this is Railway Thin. I'm sorry, this is Railway Thin. What is this? Oh, it's not even letting me put it up for some reason. Anyway, I just don't like the appearance of this page. It just looks old. It looks like a website from 10 years ago. The website looks actually really basic. And the comment I made here is what if somebody wants to search for multiple counties? So let's look at, I know you said you're not trying to compete with this guy, but it doesn't mean your interface can't look more professional. So I like this. So find a home. See how this looks real professional? It's got nice shadowing. It's got shadowing on the cards. It's got nice separation. Find a home. You can search by location, address, whatever. Now let's compare. And over here's the properties. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can do the filters right here. So let's compare to yours. So my point is, what happens right now if I want to move to Indiana, but I don't know what county I want to move to. And that's not uncommon. I mean, I do that not all the time. I've done that plenty of times. Once you go to Hamilton County, let me see. And this just doesn't look good. Like this text here, it looks very plain. It looks dated. Your video, you do a really good job with video. So I want to add that. That's something to really build on. That's a great way to build up brand. And we can get into a brand a lot more. With AI nowadays, one thing Google seems to be looking at a lot in giving points for is brand. Because there's all this AI generated content. How does Google know what's legit and what's just AI generated? So it looks to brand and reputation. So you can see here, this font just looks smaller than this font. It's probably a different font face. Um, it didn't look okay on over at my girlfriend's house, but it looks okay here. I wish I had a screenshot. So I would want to test this on multiple resolutions. One way we could do this is go to UserBob, affordability testing. You could get 100 videos it's $1 per video, right? So you could do 20. And so this would be people with all types of phones, laptops, different screen resolutions, and have them go to this page and have them search. Where is it at? Just have them search for a house and give their feedback on what their thoughts are. So one, you're going to get good feedback on what people like about your website, and two, you're going to see if it looks unprofessional or if there are errors on all kinds of different laptop configurations, right? So yeah, so I think the website needs a little bit of a facelift before going live. There's some inconsistencies. It just looks dated. Again, we go back here, go to buy. Get discounts. See, there's good use of graphics. It's bold, nice formatting, nice alignment compared to yours. And it just looks old, looks tired. So that's my feedback on that. So map view shows nothing. Okay, this isn't doing this now. Oh, so Lafayette shows twice. Let me get so I don't keep clicking on this. Let me actually let's do that. It was when I went to the filter. Where's the filter? Okay, see now I'm not even seeing the filter. Okay, watch this. So if I type in Lafayette, oh now it's not showing up. And you don't want this in a frame. Like, see how I can, when I scroll, the whole thing should happen. You don't want this in I'm assuming this is like an iframe or something like that. I don't even know. I'd have to look into it. You don't want this hidden in a frame like this. It's just a very dated thing. You want all of this in a page. Again, going back to here, you can put them all over here, or I wonder if there's a way to go to, anyway. So there's just a lot of things I would do differently. Maybe you like it like that, but I certainly wouldn't keep it in a frame. And when I went to, okay, now before Lafayette was listed twice, so I'm not sure what happened. Let me see my other comments. Matt V, I don't know. It's showing now. Yeah, so you don't want a drag bar on the side, which is what I just said. And you have a giant empty footer. So the footer here, if you go to my web, and my website's not the greatest thing in the world. Oh, and as I say that, I have a duplicate footer. I'm going to pause it and fix this. Okay, so you can see in the footer, see how my page, and you may not like it looking this modern. I mean, modern stuff. We're kind of like, I don't know, kind of more high tech or whatever. This isn't the look you would be going for, but see how it just looks more pizzazzy. So this is another website I've worked on. See, this is more kind of, in my opinion, it's more modern. It's not, but it's not overkill, kind of like my company website. But see the footer, you want these links on the footer. You want to put your socials in the footer. You want your contact information in the footer, and you want to say the areas you serve in the footer, right? So if we go look at your footer, it's a lot of empty white space. Right here is text. There's a lot of wasted space here, and there's nothing else here. So that's a really, really bad footer. So that definitely would be updated. So you can just go look at any of your competition. Let's look at this guy. So people come to the footer, and so we might need to put all this legal stuff on there. I'm not even sure. You can see that he has neighborhoods down here, which is from an SEO point of view, this is really good. And we'll get to all this. This is definitely how you want to do it. But anyway, yeah, so the footer needs work. So, okay, so I created this AI bot or custom GPT. Basically, give it, make sure I'm spelling, I always spell Noblesville wrong. Noblesville, Indiana. Okay, so if you ever want to get to this, you can just go to my page, go to resources, go to AI GPTs, then go to tools. It's not there, is it? Oh, it's on the blog. Anyway, the link is right here. Go to norzer.me/biz page, then click here, and it takes you to this custom G. This is free to use. So basically, you give this bot, let's call it, or program, or AI, whatever, the keyword you want to rank for. So real estate agent or agency, whatever. Let's just do agency and the location. And it's not perfect, but let's click start. And it's going to go and do a bunch of stuff in the background and come up and say, this is what the homepage framework should look like. A hero section, so an engaging headline, your trusted real estate partner. See how it has trust, says real estate keyword. This should be the H1, and then Noblesville, Indiana. That's also in there. Have a why choose us section and our service. So what are your services? Featured listings, neighborhood insights. This is all really good. Client testimonials, contact us. Okay, so yeah, testimonials. We're getting into all this. So this is a good framework. This is a good starting point. These are some good SEO optimized titles. So when you think of titles, whatever you title a page isn't necessarily how it's going to show up as a title in the search results. So this is the title and this is the meta description. Title, meta description. So think of it like an advertisement. You need to spend time optimizing these because you want to influence or attract more traffic. This is your billboard, right? So if you don't, and sometimes Google won't even use what you give it. It'll use whatever it thinks is good. But there's no reason you shouldn't spend time writing good titles and meta descriptions. So, okay, so we're going back to my GP. Let me close some of this stuff. So these are, I think it's there. Is it not there? Let's see. Close some of this stuff. Okay, I think it's actually, might need to pause it and do it again. Now let me pause it. Oh, I have a memory saving. Okay, it actually did do it. So here we go. So these are some possible titles for your homepage. These are some good meta descriptions. Remember, meta descriptions as that text in the search engine's results page, or the SERP, spelled like this, SERP, as I just showed you. So these are keywords you should focus on. So this should be in the text. And don't think of it as just as words, think of it as topics. So you don't necessarily need to say Noblesville Neighborhood Guide, although that is something I would focus on. This is a topic you need to cover. So that tells me we need to create neighborhood guides for all the neighborhoods in that area. So this is some AI, some NL. These are similar to keywords, but it's more, these have relationships with the topic we're searching on, like investment, valuation. So these are things we need to focus on. So these are the H1. So remember, so if you go to SEO, this is my main business is SEO solutions. So that's in the H1. So you can see I have one H1. You always want to have one H1. Then these are my H2s. So these are the main things I'm doing: local SEO, e-commerce SEO, WordPress website performance, website design, etc., etc. So this is kind of how you want it formatted. Let's go also look at here and watch this not be good. And I'm going to make a fool of myself, but I'm pretty sure it's formatted properly. Yeah, see, your local Parma attorneys. So it's Parma, Ohio, and attorneys is what they do. And you get a free consultation practice area. So you can see the practice areas is the H2, and their H3s are their practice areas. So this gives the algorithm a really good understanding of what's going on here. Okay. These are some good H2s. So when you're trying to rank a page, you want to take whatever's working. So if I wanted to rank for Willy Wonka bars, I would go and look at the top results and see what they are. Then when I would create the content piece, I would do it like these, because if the top result talks about Wonka bars in Asia, and the first three results talk about Wonka bars in Asia, which I know would be insane, but whatever. And I wrote a content piece on Wonka bars in Europe, then I'm not going to rank because Google expects, because Asia is something it's rewarding as a concept or a topic that Google expects to see. Only because it's there, not because if somehow you can manipulate it and create faulty information and get it to rank high. Google would think that faulty information was accurate, and you'd have to write that stuff. But anyway, so that's that. So these are headings we can all sample headings we can use. So people also ask questions. So you can see at the bottom of practice area pages, I always have FAQs. So this helps people, helps humans, but it's also really good for the algorithm because all this stuff is very specific and it's very intentional and it's very SEO optimized. These are questions people are asking. So for example, if I search for injury lawyer and I look at people also ask here, these are questions for this topic. These are questions Google thinks are relevant. So why not include these questions in the content piece and in the website we're working on? That's the idea there. So you're not going to do all these, but this is just to give you an idea. Ngrams. So the ngrams are just multiple word keywords. So if we want to create an image using AI image generation, this is a prompt we could use. We don't need to get into that. So then it prompts out a bunch of unique ideas or angles, and it gives me all kinds of useful information. So we could have a section on historic homes in Noblesville, eco-friendly homes. That's something maybe you're not highlighting. So you can imagine people are searching for buy eco-friendly home. Let's use a big city, Los Angeles. And you can see here, Zillow has an eco-friendly section. So I don't think that's mentioned on your website at all. So that's something we would want to incorporate because people, anytime you create a piece of content, you have to think about what do you think people are searching for in order to end up at that destination. First time buyer home buyer programs, luxury property listings. So not just and that other your competitor Tucker or whoever, he has a luxury property listing. I don't think you do. We don't need to go check. Pet friendly. So these are all things we could focus on. So this is all just coming from AI. AI is going and looking at other real estate sites that are good, that are working, and these are all topics that are covered on those websites. So we need to replicate this. So these are just some content ideas. Top 10 neighborhoods to live in Noblesville. You can imagine somebody searching that, somebody that's possibly looking to move to the area. Why would we not create this content piece? Let's see if there's even a content piece now. Don't want to do quotes. If it's not, this would be an ideal content piece to write. So best neighborhood has it. Oh, you actually have 5. This is actually good. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, it's your video. So what I would do, you have a good video. I've watched a few of your videos. They're really good. I actually subscribe to your channel. I would also turn this into a content piece because Google loves content that also has rich text. I'm sorry, media in it, videos, photos, etc. So you could have your video. So you could have this as a content piece with a video embedded. That would be a perfect content piece. And you could just basically use AI to transcribe the text from this. Then we could take that transcript and again use AI to convert it into a blog post. Now you never want to take whatever Google gives you as content and use it to copy and paste it. You want to modify it and make it your own. There's reasons for that. We can get into that, but you just don't want to take what Google gives you. Okay, so there's more stuff. Um, so additional ideas, local SEO optimization, mobile-friendly website, content marketing, social media engagement, client testimonials. Okay, that's all good stuff. Okay, now it stops. You got to keep going. And I'm going to take a sip of drink here. So I have bots that do a lot of the stuff I'm talking about. Use schema. Yeah, so schema is important. Basically, schema is some code in the website that says this is a business. Because when Google's displaying results, it wants to only display results that it's 100% sure are accurate. So if you can explicitly tell Google this is a web page advertising a house for sale, Google can be assured this is a website advertising a house and doesn't have to make a bunch of assumptions. Internal linking strategy, that's good. Location pages, which is really good. So we'd want to have houses in Fishers, houses in Carmel, Westerville, neighborhood guides for all these places, etc. So this is something, as you can see, it's going to take years if you work with me or somebody else. You'll never run out of stuff to do because I know nothing about Noblesville, but I'm assuming there's dozens or hundreds of neighborhoods. So you could do one neighborhood guide per month, and you could that alone could give you work for the next handful of years. Use trust signals, reviews is like the best thing you can do. We'll get into that. Competitive research. I actually have a bot that helps with that. Social engagement, drip campaigns. See, that's good. And so this is where it gets really cool. So if I type yes here, and you can imagine I get leads from this because you can see I plug my business at the end of this. If you need help with local e-commerce SEO, WordPress design, visit me. So the whole reason I made this was kind of to be helpful, but it was mainly as a marketing thing. So it says if you'd like, I can write the complete content for the landing page. And think of it as the home page. And I could create a project for you and it can learn your writing style, what all your services are, all that stuff. So you can see here, you can imagine this, your trusted real estate agency in Noblesville, Indiana. And imagine, and this, you don't want this, just wouldn't have this text up here. I would have your logo, and makes me remember this logo looks extremely dated. We would definitely want to update that. I have a guy that can do your logo, make it more modern for like $50. It's no big deal. It's super cheap. So you can imagine this would be right here. This be here if you wanted to. You could keep professional service, proven results, whatever. And you can imagine, are you looking for a reliable, experienced real estate agency? Whether you're buying your first home, selling, that would kind of be this blurb right here. Then you kind of have a blurb here. Then you have the different areas. So as we go along, see why choose us, local expert, and this is all keyword rich stuff. This is all SEO optimized. You can't just copy and paste it. As I said, you want to add your own stuff to it. So why choose us? So instead of this, this, and this, it could be these sections. Boom, 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 boom. Um, in-depth property searches. So this is just stuff that this is kind of building the page for you. And this is saying then have your featured listings thing, view listings, then neighborhood, so neighborhood, sorry, and then reviews, right? You definitely want to have your reviews on your homepage. So you can see it's super, super powerful. Okay, so I also have a content gap GPT, and it actually is, AI has a way of lying. It's called hallucinating, and it's not, I tell it to compare. Okay, where's it at? Okay, I said, this is your, oh, I didn't give it the right thing. Anyway, okay, I didn't even do it right. But anyway, this AI isn't that good. It kind of makes things up. And I said, compare your URL with these two competitors. And it says, this is things they're doing that you're not doing. But they're not doing a lot of stuff. It's actually making a bunch of stuff up, but it's actually really good information. So I made notes over here. So these is just things we could focus on. This is from the previous topic: waterfront properties, investment opportunities, luxury homes, first time buyer, green energy efficient, senior housing, downsizing, pet friendly, school district info, etc. This is all really good stuff. This is all stuff you'd want to incorporate on your homepage and throughout your site. And so these are: should I move to Indianapolis, best neighborhoods and Fishers, relocation video guides, blog posts, um, cost of living in Zionsville, Indiana, 2025 edition. So this is all really good stuff, because when Google's determining what to show in the rankings, it's not just looking at that singular page. It's looking at your entire site and trying to determine if you're an expert on what you're trying to sell. So if you have all these 20 neighborhood guides, school information for all these different places, a bunch of real estate information, neighborhood law information, then Google's going to see you're an expert there. And then next time somebody searches for real estate agent near me, because you've proven you're an expert, there's gonna be a much higher probability that you're going to rank for that search result and bring in the business, right? Um, so I ran my local Falcon report. As you can see, oh, it didn't paste. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so I did a test for if somebody went into Google and typed in real estate agent Noblesville, let's show where you show up on the map, and it's not good. And I can see, we'll go over many of the reasons why. If somebody typed that search from right here, you wouldn't be in the top 20 results, and you wouldn't be in the top 20 results anywhere. So this is kind of what it looks like as you start ranking better. So you can see, if somebody searched for traffic ticket lawyer Parma, right here, they would be the second search result. If they did it from over here, about 10 miles west, 13, you can see how proximity plays a big role here. And there's ways to start ranking higher in these other locations. It just takes time to build all that out, months and months and years and years. So, and it really holds up to what I'm seeing too when I do real estate agent, Noblesville, Indiana, and and just keep in mind, these results will fluctuate from minute to minute or hour to hour. Right now, above and beyond is number one. Do this an hour from now, it might be number five, right? But generally, you'll see things trend. If it's one, it probably won't be lower than five. If it shows up as eight, it probably won't be lower than 15, but won't go higher than three. Google's constantly trying to figure out what the best results are. So you can see it. Let's see if we can find yours. And I can tell you almost precisely why, well, many reasons why. Top choice right here. Keep keep note of this. Top choice real estate. Just remember that. Top choice real estate. And that was one, two, three. It doesn't matter. It's looks like it's showing a little higher than 20 right now. Oh, it's I know I'll point out why. It's be, I'll give away the secret. It's because you have two profiles. The profile I'm working with is top choice. I'll show you. The one I have access to, okay, it is that way. But there's two. You have two profiles for the same business. So this is a big problem, huge problem. Top Choice Real Estate LLC, Top Choice Real Estate. And I confirm this by going to the website. That's your website for that one. And let's go to the website on this one, and you'll see it goes to the same place. So you need to figure out which one of these you want to roll with and only have one. So this is your real goes back to my point earlier is Google wants to only display results it knows are accurate. If it's not confident about it's giving it accurate information, it's really going to penalize you. So you can imagine it doesn't know which one of these is real. And so both are getting demoted. That's something that needs to be worked out. Even if you decide to work with somebody else, whatever, that's something that needs to be handled immediately. Um, so that's the local Viking grid. So I put together a topical map, and I've done this over the last few days. So a lot of stuff in these notes, I don't remember what it is until I actually click on it. So this is a rough early topical map of content we could start working on. So for this pillar category of Noblesville real estate market, housing market trends, how real estate compares Fishers and Karma, and you don't have to do a lot of stuff. So don't feel overwhelmed. I can draft a lot of it in AI, and you can look it over, and then you can point out, okay, this is not right. Let's add this, blah 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 blah, or whoever's working on it. Neighborhood community guide, so best neighborhoods to raise a family in Noblesville, full guide to living in downtown Noblesville, buyer, first time buyer. So these are all main topics that highly correlate with the search real estate agent, Noblesville, Illinois. This is all the information you need to be covering on your website. You need to think of yourself, you want to think of your website as an information source for everything and anything related to real estate in specifically your geography. You don't want to spend time at this stage worrying about being a real estate agent and providing information in Colorado or New York. That might be something you want to conquer eventually, but right now you should worry about dominating your very local niche area, which would be Noblesville, maybe the surrounding cities. Then once you start doing well in there and consistently started getting in the top three of the map pack, then you can focus out to other places. But that's the way you do it because you'll it's too hard to compete, right? Okay. So, we don't need to go through all of it. You can click there and read through it. And, we can make improvements to it, but just get a couple more. Best restaurants in Noblesville, parks you love, lead gen. So these are like lead gen tools called No Home Value Estimator. You do have that calculator. That's good. Um, and filters, you definitely want to have those search. I don't know if you have those search filters or not. Anyway, we can go through all that. Okay, Google Business Profile. So this is the big problem. You have multiple GBPs. Okay, so that needs to be resolved as soon as possible. Does sometimes every real estate agent and a real estate company having their own individual Google Business Profile is better, and sometimes it's not. You don't know until you try it. So we might want to create a Google Business Profile individually for you and for every one of the other real estate agents and see how it works for 4 or 5 months. And then get rid of them. Or I'm sorry, we'd want to get a baseline with how it is now, minus the duplicate for 3 or 4 months, and see how much traffic you're getting, see how many leads are coming in. And then after that, maybe create individual profiles for different agents and let it go for a few months and see how it's going. If you don't notice, you can't make a change and give it 2 weeks and see if it's working. It takes a lot longer for Google to recognize changes. Well, not to recognize them, but to see those changes reflected in actual real world data, right? So unfortunately, you just need to make a change and let it sit for 2 or 3 months. A lot of people panic when their web traffic goes from 100 visitors a week to 60 in a week. But if you just wait, it may go to 50 the next week. And the week after that, it might go to 130. It's always going to fluctuate. You're verified. That's good. You do have a duplicate listing category. So let me kill a lot of this stuff. I don't like the way this actually looks now that I look at it, but anyway, we're gonna go to real estate agents, Noblesville. What I like to do is, let me make sure I have it turned on. Okay, I have installed twice. There's also GMB everywhere. Okay, so if you go into your GBP, top choice real estate Indiana, and go to the one I have access to, it's not letting me. Let's do this. Okay, we're on category. So one setting here is category. So your category is a real estate agent, but let's see what categories your competition's using, especially the top ranking competition. You're using, what did I say? Real estate agent, and it's loading. I don't know why. That's probably because I moved away from it. Let's not leave the page. Real estate agency. I don't know why it went away. Let me pause it real quick. Okay, so it's bugging out right now, but it should list the categories that each one of these companies is using, their Google Business Profile categories. Oh, here we can do it here if we click on them one by one, which we're not going to do. So real estate agency, which you're using, what was it? Real estate agent, but you're actually an agency. So you'd want to add that. But things you're not using, a commercial real estate agency. Are you an insurance broker? I don't know. Are you a mortgage lender? I'm not sure. But that's so you just do these one by one and make sure you're using all the categories that make sense. Real estate consultant, that's probably fitting. Let's go look at this one here. Real estate agent, you're not a home builder, proper, you're probably not any of these, but anyway, you get the idea. Whatever categories make sense, you want to make sure you're using all of them because it really helps. Yeah, so your business description, it's not good. It's too short. You have something I say that's use what Google gives you. Google gives you 750 characters. I want to see a lot more in here. Um, Neighborhoods mentioned. Think of the rich keywords. Luxury home, different neighborhoods. Obviously, Noblesville, Indiana. The word real estate. All that stuff. And we can use AI. Luckily working with me, I'm kind of on the forefront of AI and the SEO world, so I can help you with all this. You don't have to come up with all this stuff on your own. I can do it for you and run it by you, and you can tell me yes or no, right? It actually looks like they now have a button here. Let's see what this does. I know it's an AI generator. Let's see how it's pretty good. Not bad, but we can do better. So that's what that means. Okay, so business name, not spammy or duplicate. What this means, if you're a real estate agent and your business is called Noblesville Real Estate Agency Incorporated, that's like the best possible business name you can have from an SEO point of view. The keywords in the name really, really helps. Also, if the URL was noblesvillerealestateagency.com would be ideal. Obviously, that's not generally possible. However, businesses know this. So, like this is one right here, Above and Beyond Realty. So if we click on it and go to the website, let's see what their website says. Their company name is Above and Beyond Realty. Now let's look at their GBP business title, Above and Beyond Realty dash Hamilton County in Indiana Realtors. They're intentionally stuffing their business name because they want to get the extra bonus for this being in their business name. So I would report this and make them change it. There's no reason they should get an extra benefit. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't try, but I go through these one by one and I find ones that are stuffing their business keywords into the business name and we report them so they don't get that extra juice, which they're obviously getting. Allen Williams Realty Group, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Let's see what this is. Williams Ritchie Real Estate Group. Okay, so that's probably inaccurate too. We would report it or suggest an edit. Allie Beaver, Allie the Realty, the brokerage company of Indiana. We're not going to go through these one by one right now. I'm just giving you an idea of what I'm talking about. Allie Alvey, the brokerage company. Okay, I think that's actually what it says. Okay, realtor, I would report realtor's not in their business name. You do the same thing with businesses that are using addresses that aren't actually business addresses. So, like if somebody's using a home address, because there's a benefit to having a physical business address. It goes back to the very beginning of what I was talking about, where I talked about the closer they are to you in searching, you're going to get those results. If somebody has a you can't create a Google business profile listing and use an address if it's a business that's run, if it's a service business. You can still use it, but there would be no physical address in the listing. So we go through these one by one and see, are they actually homes? Which one's this? Okay, that looks like a business. I would, I'm not sure actually. Yeah, it kind of looks like a business. So this one's legitimate, I think. I think I made a note. Oh, so let's go to yours. So I think yours, I believe, okay, this one is, I think one of the two is actually set to a service area business, which is what you're going to have to do. Because if I go to it and search, oh, you're actually using a UPS store as your address. I didn't catch that. So yeah, that's not good. This is a definite violation of Google Business Profile guidelines. Somebody reports you on this, you can get your entire listing suspended. But you do get the benefit from having an address for what I've talked about multiple times. So I get why you're doing it, but I would not recommend doing this. What you want to do is go to your listing. Got too many windows. Let me start back over. So I manage this one. And I think this one, I got to do it this way. Something's acting crazy. Business, google.com. I think this one, yeah, see, this is a service area. There's no business location. And that's the right way to, if you don't have a physical building where employees actually work, you need to set it as a business location. Now, it's not going to rank as well. It's much harder to get going with it because you're losing that entire proximity factor. But I mean, you can risk it and use UPS. I wouldn't do it. I would have done it 5 years ago. I wouldn't do it now because you can really get hit for it. Address, no duplicates. Okay, set to service area business. That's what that means. Phone number. So you don't want your phone number, whatever it is, to show up as other business names. So if you take your phone number and search for it, it shows up in a bunch of different business names. So we'd reach out and try to get all these corrected. So this one says Top Choice. This one says Bob Morris. This one says another one. It's your old business name. I know we talked about it, Indie's Choice. So we want to get all this stuff consistent. Are competitors using fake addresses? Yes, some are. So we would report them. You don't want to allow them to get that extra benefit of the proximity benefit if they don't have a real business address. Are you in the location you're ranking for? So we kind of went over that. Service areas. So want to make sure that you don't have any products. That's good. That's no big deal. You can see the only service area you have for this profile is Noblesville. You're more than likely also serving Pendleton, Anderson, Franklinton, so we would definitely expand that. Make sure hours are set right. Make sure the URL is set right. Remember, I said migrate carefully. You're not using products, that's fine. Services. So whatever the service is, commercial financing, estate selling, real estate selling. So there's more services we would put here. You don't have an appointment link. We can set that up. Attributes, all. So a bunch of other stuff isn't set. Just take my word on it. Google Posts. It's something we'd want to set up regularly. And I actually have a GPT for this. responding to reviews is like as a business owner, it's probably the best thing you can do. So going here and looking at these reviews, and I can totally help you with this. These are really good to have these pictures in it. And there's ways to kind of get around 1-star reviews, but you need to be responding to every review and the response needs to be personal. We can get into that whole strategy later, but that's the important thing you want to do. Messages, we need photos, need much more, videos, social media links. Yeah, I love your videos. Those are really good. But oh, I said what I was one that note there is don't spam the hashtags. I'm not going to go to your videos. In your YouTube videos, at the end, you have like 20 hashtags. Google's going to YouTube, Google, any modern algorithm's going to see that as spam. You never want to use more than maybe three tops, probably 1 to 2 hashtags in every post. So get rid of that. It's in each of your videos descriptions. Users, that's good. You don't have a bunch of spammy users. We need to do questions in the profile. We need to answer the no displace questions, blah, blah, blah. And I showed you local falcon. Okay, I can get into all that stuff. We're not going to spend too much time on it. So Screaming Frog. So this is just a site spider. Everything's set to no index now because it's under development. So that makes sense. So if you go to robots.txt, which tells spiders, gives them directives, says do not do anything, do not search this site, disallow everything. So none of this should show up in search results. But using Screaming Frog, I can override all that. This is why I couldn't do this until I got back today, because this program's on this specific laptop. So we're going to go through this. Basically, where are we at? You got some broken links. There's a lot of weird stuff in here too, which I'll show you. So response code. So you can see these are broken links. Google doesn't like broken links. Whoop, that's not broken links. See, you can see it's like somebody made a typo designing the website. Charleston realtyninja.com/Facebook. It's like they're trying to link to your Facebook page, but there's no HTTP in front of Facebook. Now, if you go to I had to stop the scan at 13,000 URLs because it was never ending to watch. So if I click resume, watch down here. It's now found 13,300 URLs. 13,000. I was thinking, okay, maybe you have a lot of properties, but if you actually inspect the URLs, what the hell? Oh, there we go. So these look normal. Now these aren't good URLs, but you can see here there's a typo here. This and actually I think it works, but it doesn't go to Facebook. No, it doesn't work. Okay, that's the error, the broken link. But you can see here this like they do the same thing with this x.com. This is meant to be a redirect to Twitter to x.com. But you can see here this is meant to be a link to Instagram. And as we go, now these links shouldn't just say Madison County. It should say Madison County homes for sale or whatever. Because what does Madison County mean, right? You want to put all those keywords in there. But that's something as you can see, there's just a lot of stuff. But look at this. .com listings view, then it has the view, then other Instagram. So this is meant to go to Instagram. It's a lot of other Facebook, other top choice. So there's a link on this page, on all these pages, that's causing all of this crap. You can see, look at this. Home site view. So this is probably correct from here to the left, but then there's other Instagram.com/Facebook.com/X.com/ this doesn't even make any sense. You know what I mean? So all of this actually goes to this URL here, and it probably is ignoring all this extra stuff, right? So that's right. However, all this is being interpreted as more than likely different pages that Google has to index, and it's all the same stuff. So you have a lot of conflict. I can't think of the word right now. Oh my God, it's a very common SEO term. Just duplicate. You have a lot of duplicate, what it thinks is duplicate content, right? And it's going on forever. So you can imagine Google has X amount of cycles to index your site, but if it's wasting all of its time indexing all of this nonsense, it's the stuff it needs to index isn't going to get indexed because if you go to page titles, We sort by title. Look at all this stuff. This is all the same title, which is good, and it's all the same thing, but the URLs are all different. So Google's having to index this, and if somebody did search for by 728 Woodway Lane house or whatever, how does it know which one of these to display if it thinks they're all the same? Let me see if it has a canonical. Okay, it looks like it is saying if somebody, the accurate URL for, okay, for this URL, this is where it needs to be sent. View, other, 728, whatever. Anyway, it's just a mess. This all needs to be cleaned up. And it looks like if I did resume and let it sit, I'm thinking it's like an infinite loop somewhere. You can see down here, it's still going, still going. This probably will just go on indefinitely. And this is not good. This is a good way to get de-indexed from search engines, and not just search engines, from AI. Like I rarely use Google. Well, I shouldn't say rarely. I use AI a lot more than I do Google nowadays. So when I say Google, think AI too. Okay. Um, Meta descriptions. So we got all those page titles, meta descriptions. You don't have meta descriptions in, and you can see all of these duplicate. Look, these don't have meta descriptions, which they should. And you can see these are all the same thing. So and it's all the same page, more than likely, if we expanded this kind of. So there's just a big mess here. This all needs to be cleaned up. Okay. Meta keywords, don't you, this is a good way to get you, I think Bing actually will penalize you for using meta keywords. This hasn't been something that's worked for the last 10 years. You don't want meta keywords in any of your pages. It should be nothing. That's the way people used to spam these keywords into pages to help improve the ranking. So we want to make sure you get rid of all this. H1s, you don't have good H1s. Remember the headers we talked about all that, don't have good H2s. Images, some of them are really large. These images need to be optimized from an image, just from a size point of view. Like you shouldn't be using PNGs unless it's like a transparent PNG. And like you don't need a map this big. You know what I mean? Nobody's clicking into it. And that shouldn't be a PNG. That should be a WebP. This map we could probably get to 30K. This slows website speed down, especially on mobile and like people with really bad connections. And these images need to have better, especially if it's in a product listing. So let's just see what this one is. Right. So this, instead of calling it, which means nothing, this should be 4561 Beech Grove Lane, two-bedroom house for sale, Noblesville, Indiana, .webp, whatever. So all that stuff needs to be optimized, right? So that's a lot of work there too. Um, so there might be more, but it take too long to get into all of it. I'm just showing you. I think it looks like I covered most of it. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on a lot of this stuff. I think you see there's a lot of work to be done, but there's definitely a lot more. So I have a little tool that I created. The goal is to be for Google to put you in its knowledge graph, meaning its database. So I have a tool I created called the knowledge graph is basically Google's, let's just call it database for objects and data and stuff like that. So ideally, like everybody knows what the Red Sox is. I hope this works because I just migrated the tool over, so it may not actually work right now. Right. Okay. So Google understands what the Red Sox is. So ideally, we want top choice real estate or whatever the official name is. We have to be consistent every time we do it to show up here. Now you're probably not a recognized entity at this stage, but it's something we want to do. So this is just saying this should be the goal we're going for. This is just a bunch of stuff we can do. These are just some good linkable assets we could create. The idea is to create content that people are going to share, that people are going to link to. Neighborhood guides, moving to here, best places, etc. Keyword cannibalization, that's the word I was looking for earlier. All those duplicate listings are being cannibalized. YouTube, do we have a YouTube video for each landing page? You don't, and you do a good job with videos. That's something we would definitely do if we have the time. Local competition observations. I didn't spend a lot of time on this, but their websites in general are more polished. They have more assets, and I would dig more if you decided you wanted to work with this. Same thing in nationwide competition. Don't worry about that. So GSC. So let me just briefly show you Google Search Console. Top choice. and we go to performance. I'm sorry, we go to pages and we go to crawled, not indexed. So Google knows about these pages, but they're not in the search results. Like some of these shouldn't be in the search results, right? We want to go and figure out which one should this be in the search results. We want to find out like you probably want this Indianapolis guide final. See what this is. Yeah, we probably would want try to get this indexed. I'm gonna get a sip of my drink here. Okay. One reason is it's really slow. That might be a reason it's not in the search results. But anyway, and I have a script that goes and checks this nightly. Wow, this is really good. This is really, really good. So we would want to I would try to convert this into a web page, not a PDF, right? Because this is all really, really good. It's actually, this is not AI generated. This is really good content that only somebody that has the expertise in this field could create for the most part, right? Okay, landing pages. Not all your landing pages don't really have landing pages. WordPress is currently set. You're not using WordPress, but right now robots is just, we don't got to worry about that. Spam looks good. You're not using multiple domains. You're not matching your competitors' top pages. So your competitors, the pages they have that's getting the most traffic, we want to have those pages too. So if your competitor has a page called the Ultimate Neighborhood Guides to Noblesville, Indiana, and it's getting a lot of traffic, we want to create that guide as well. You don't have all those. Geo landing pages. So, real estate agent in Noblesville, real estate agent in Bloomington, whatever the cities are, right? Um, you're not Google guaranteed. I would suggest getting Google guaranteed and running ads. So even if you just do ads for like $5 a day, you have to run ads to show up. Let me see if I can find one real quick. Let's think of plumber near me right here. If you're Google guaranteed, you're going to show up here. Now you have to go through a process. They're going to do background checks of the employees, all kinds. It's totally free. At least last I checked, it was free. The only catch is you have to be running local service ads to show up as Google guaranteed. So it's something I would consider doing because you're showing up right here above the fold. You're not down here. They don't even have. This isn't even the 3-pack. This is sponsored stuff. Now, of course, as soon as somebody clicks on this, you're going to be paying for that click. Okay, backlinks. So backlinks, we don't need to get into that. You want as many links to your website as possible. There's all kinds of ways to do that. Don't worry about this. Yeah, we need to rework the logo. I don't know what blank means. Anyway, 4 or 5 page looks good. Sitemap. Okay, yeah. So this just means that the sitemap should be mentioned in the robots.txt, but it's not, so it needs to be included. And is that so? Sitemap is basically just all the pages. Oops. So you can see here, this is telling all of the spiders where the sitemap is. The sitemap is a list of all the pages on the website. So all these crawlers can go, oh, these are the posts? Okay. And it was updated here. And the last time I crawled, it was here. I just need to update these 2 pages. Yours has one, but I'm not confident. It's not mentioned in the robots.txt. Also, I'm not confident it's going to be updated automatically. So that's something I would want to know, right? A lot of these non-WordPress sitemaps, they're created once and they're never updated again, unless all you have is 3 properties. That's something we would need to figure out. Okay, secure your website performance. Don't worry about that. It's not always mobile friendly. It is mobile friendly, but we go here. Anyway, it looks too plain. Well, let me go ahead and do it. I'm trying to balance time, but it's just a lot of critical stuff. So we're going to look at your website from different mobile platforms or mobile devices. And we're not going to sit here and let it load 300 of them. We're just going to look at the first few. Okay, so you can see your homepage. That looks okay. Now it's going to go to the second link, which is the bio. This gray box looks really, really bad and dated. This black and gray box looks really, really bad and dated. You can see testimonials really, really bad and dated. It's just same thing here. Anyway, we could go on forever, but there's all kinds of pages. In my opinion, I would give it a facelift before going and look. Oh, and the spacing. Look at the space, like news. Why is there so much space above and below news? It just looks really old school. Anyway, that's that. We can go over all that. Um, don't worry about that. Optimize blog content. Okay, don't worry about that. You're not doing any content updating. Okay, your socials. Okay, so your socials on this page, if you look, look at the URL down here in the bottom left. See, the Facebook, it needs to be explicit instead of I can't think of the word right now. But if you go to it, it's meant to go to here. But what it's doing, it's got the URL wrong. This could be the culprit. You fix it in this one place. I'm not sure how the site's designed. It may fix it in all those other places. But you can see Instagram does the same thing. X does the same thing. YouTube does the same thing. Actually, the YouTube one looks okay. But what I like to do, like I have Norzer.me, I create redirects right there. So I don't have to remember my YouTube URL. And that goes, oh, that actually goes to my calculator. Let's do this. Discord. You can see this goes to my Discord channel. So you just create redirects. Also, to get reviews, I don't have to remember my long Google review URL. Whoops. Oh, let's go. So instead of saying to somebody, will you please leave me a Google review and giving them this long, ridiculous URL, you just give them norzer.me, Google, and watch this. It automatically redirects directly to where they go to leave me a review. It pops up the form and everything. And they just type in, yeah, super company, super smart people, whatever, whatever. So that's how I like to do it. Anyway, um, I would, if you're doing these videos, let's make sure to get them on TikTok as well. I think that would be really good stuff. Open Graph's good. Don't spam hashtags in YouTube. Since I know now your YouTube link works, let me go there. Let's go here. Let me look at one of your videos.
When you start talking about moving
Right here, look at this. This one actually has 4, but this nobody's searching in the hashtag why move to Indiana, so there's no point putting that. It's just obviously spammy.
Hi, I'm Bob with
The only content I yeah, this one. See all this stuff. Nobody's searching on these, so it's just this. This is stuff that was done like 10 years ago. This is only hashtags I may use would be something like hashtag Indiana, hashtag real estate, maybe hashtag Noblesville, and that's it. Tops. You don't want all this stuff here. It's not good. It's hurting you more than anything else. Let me start closing some of this stuff. Okay. And again, the stuff that I'm skipping, we can talk about it in a lot more detail if you want. Yeah, so Mo's local scan. This is just so you want to make sure all of your citations are your mentions on the web. So it's like your web footprint. You want it all to be consistent. So you can see here, I would have to run it again. Let me see if I have it saved somewhere else. I don't want to. Anyway, some websites on the web, like Yellow Pages, might have indie realty. Other ones might have um, top choice. Others might have one phone number. Others might have another phone number. All that stuff needs to be consistent. That's what I'm saying here. We need to get in citations. So want to make sure we're on basically, this is just ways to find citation sources. So top real estate agents in Indiana. So you can see here, we would want to get maybe in Real Trends Verified. Maybe want to get you listed in Fast Expert. Zillow. Can you get on Zillow? I don't know if you even can. I don't know how that all works. Rate My Agent. We'd want to get you on a Rate My Agent. So we'd have to investigate all these. We can find out the top ranking results where they're getting links from, right? So that's all that means. So they just want to get in all these little directories. If you're not in Chamber of Commerce, yours isn't claimed, right? And look at the reviews. So if you go to top choice We need to claim it. And this one, I think you pay a few $100s a month. I'm sorry, a year for, so it's no big deal. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. You want to claim it, but look at the reviews here. Google humans obviously look at this stuff, but Google takes in this to account too. And you want to be able to respond to these. So if you claim this and this was yours, you could come and respond to these reviews, specifically the bad ones, right? You don't want these. This gives you a really bad, people a really bad vibe. All this stuff. This is just called your, my company, creating digital footprints with data-driven SEO solution. This is all your digital footprint. All of these things, not only on your website, but on Chamber of Commerce, on Yelp, on Zillow.com, and all these sites, all that matters. That's all your digital footprint, and all that stuff needs to be controlled. Um, if you're like a conservative company, you could, do stuff on conservative websites. If you're a liberal, you wouldn't want to do that, obviously. If you don't want any political stuff, whatever, you don't mess with it. Okay, this is just creating service pages. This is just structuring your website. Yeah, we've talked about headers are kind of all over the place, not formatted well at all. So this is just how to create the pages. They're not your pages aren't formatted well. They're not structured well from an SEO point of view. They're not laid out well. You don't have good external links. You don't have a call to action above the fold. You want to put awards you have, membership, certifications, all that stuff needs to be on. So like one of my clients sending around, you can see here, he's in members of the International Brotherhood of Real Beard Santas. I'll make it a little bigger. Fraternal Order of Real Beard Santas. So he's a member of these organizations, and he shows. Look at his big clients. These are really, especially here in Louisiana, everybody knows Raising Cane's. Everybody knows these businesses. So these are really well-known clients, right? Um, actually, should be updated to have more than those. But anyway, you want to put this what's called social proof on your website. You want to have links to this is his profile on Gig Salad. So would we link to profiles on the other platform, realestateagents.com, whatever they might be? So you get the idea. Case studies. Do you have any case studies? Testimonials? You don't have that. You do have them, but it's not on the website. You want to make those apparent right here. You want to have like a testimonial section, something like that. You don't want to just have a testimonial section. You want that on each page, or at least on the home page specifically. Socials, broken, phone number, top right, clickable. So let's go back here. It is clickable. I think it worked when I checked. It does, but you also want to have it in the footer down here. We went over the contact in the footer. It's not there. Address in the footer is not there. Areas served in the footer not there. Want to have an about us page. Why? So we're going to emphasize all that stuff you told me in the intake form. Like why? Like if you go to 10 different dentist websites, they're all kind of the same thing. We need to have a section, and I think you have a why section, if I remember correctly, it's about you. It's good. Oh my God, this is driving me crazy. But I would explicitly have a why section. If you don't want an entire why section on the home page, we could have a blurb about why. Like I would emphasize it up here as much as possible above the fold, but then mention it maybe down here in the middle. This basically means you can give away stuff to people for meeting you, right? So give away a free gift card just if somebody meets with you. Higher end businesses that do higher end tickets items like lawyers, real estate agents, a lot of times they will mention on their website, come look at a house and I'll give you a free $20 Amazon gift card. Sounds cheesy or whatever, but it really works. I have one real estate agent I don't work with anymore. In Oregon, she gave away a tablet to everybody that came and had a consultation with her. A lot of them didn't buy from her, but a lot of them did. And we put a lot of her marketing materials on that tablet. And the tablet was like a cheap $30 tablet, but it was really cool. And it helped her tremendously. Because think about it, like if I'm looking for a real estate agent, if I went to a bunch of websites, which I'm not going to do, and looked at them, I might, why would I choose you over somebody else, right? Everybody kind of says the same thing. So there's got to be something. If one guy gave away a tablet, I would go talk to him, you know what I mean? Like absolutely. So to keep that in mind. Why us? Crypto is another way to stand out. You have to differentiate yourself. Can you accept crypto? Something I could help you with. I'm a big crypto guy. I could help you accept Bitcoin. As you can imagine, somebody's searching for real estate agent that accepts crypto. So if you're mentioning crypto on your website, you are going to look at this real open, buy or sell crypto or Bitcoin. These are articles you could start appearing in these searches. Legal pages, don't use stock images if at all possible. Find us on Yelp and your niche directories. I showed you that. Hours, frequently asked questions. We want that. We talked about that. You want a map on the website. Well, I don't need to show you, but you definitely want to have a map if you have a physical address. You want schema installed, give away a free book. This is a way to get people on an email list. Free location guide. You have your mortgage calculator, which is good. You're not going to have an Amazon book. It's just a way to build up brand, to have an Amazon book, you as the author. Um, Guaranteed, you're not going to price it. It looks okay. You don't have a lead gen site. I don't think, and it's actually should be here. Set up Google Alerts, and yeah, very little traffic. So if you go to Google Analytics, you're really getting about 5 visitors per day to your website. I think that should be over 20 per day. And I think that's a realistic goal within probably, I don't know, six months. Could go as high as 100 based on your niche and your city size. You, I think 20 per day should be minimum within a year. I think that's reasonable. And I think 100 plus is possible, especially if you become more of an informational site, which should be the goal. We went over this. We want to make sure we get you in Bing Places. So Bing Places is like Google Business Profile, but on Bing. So keep in mind, you think, well, nobody uses Bing. Like nobody goes to search in Bing. Not really about, and people do. But a lot of these Chat GPT, and a lot of like Amazon Alexa under the covers uses Bing. So a lot of these um, newer tools use Bing under the hood. I think ChatGPT maybe doesn't use Bing anymore, but Alexa does, as far as I know. Same thing with Yahoo Local. We want to be in Apple Maps, be in these foreign search engines. Mainly, we can get into the reason why that's important, but it is important. Want to make sure you're monitoring your website to make sure it's up. This is all good. It's all good. I would use UserBob as I talked about to get info. I want to see how people are using your site and set up Inspectlet so we can see how people are using your site. I definitely would have live chat so people can contact you. You're not doing Google Ads. Consider being on Just Answer. Haro is a way to do stuff. We can get into that. Good way to get backlinks is local advertising with churches, clubs, schools, little leagues. Good way to get backlinks and also local blogs. Offer, don't worry about that. And make sure we're tracking results. If you're putting all this work in and you don't know if things are improving or getting better, then you're wasting your time. So I have a spreadsheet I run monthly with my clients, and we check uh, traffic on keywords, we check domain authority, we check about 30 different things to make sure things are improving. If not, we change course. So hopefully this helped. I know it's a lot of information, but this literally if I went through all this as I should do, this literally would take 4 to 5 hours or more. But I think you can kind of get an idea of where I would start. So if you want to go forward with this, let me know. Then based on all this, I can put together a plan, like a monthly plan, and then we can go from there. So this isn't something that is your quote unquote SEO is going to be optimized in 2 months. It's a constant ongoing thing that never ends. It's just like investing money in marketing or anything else. The beauty of SEO over pay-per-click or advertising is SEO is if you hired somebody for SEO for a year and then decided after a year to stop doing stuff, all that stuff you created is still going to draw in traffic, right? You're not going to be able to adapt. And, like with AI now, like if you don't have an SEO person, you won't be able to deal with all these AI changes, but you're still going to get traffic on stuff. With PPC or ads, as soon as you stop paying for those ads, all that traffic is going to go away. So that's the benefit to SEO. So hope this helps. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk to you soon.